taking your image higher. Skyward Promotions.
You're part of the 3%. When we go to our conferences and you realize the attendance of 14,000 people and you're sitting in Education Day at the beginning of the week and you say, where is everybody? You know how many classes are on the agenda and there's 30 people in a class. It's because there is such a low percentage that takes the energy and the desire to participate in any education. The main overall is to promote with purpose. Let me give you an example. The first year that I started in this industry, I called out an appliance store. Introduced myself, here's what I do. You know, you're basically, wet behind the ears and you're trying to, get out there and introduce yourself to everybody. This appliance store owner said in no uncertain terms, I do not believe in promotional products. They don't work. Well, man, what makes this guy so adamant about this? I said, can I ask you why? He says, yeah. He says, 2 years ago, I bought these ashtrays. They were on sale. I sit them on the counter and nobody takes them. Well, here I am, Scooby-Doo, looking at him going, ashtrays appliance store. Ashtrays are a too high perceived value. It's not like a pen. You don't feel you can take them. And then, is he only selling to smokers? I didn't quite understand that whole thing. So he got this whole attitude because he did not promote with purpose. They were on sale. So he figured that was a good deal. Well, it was if you're in the market for ashtrays. When you start your storyboard, and we'll get into storyboards a little later, when you start your storyboard, make sure that the things that you are pretty confident about that will not change for this campaign are not only confirmed to be solid, but you know that it is going to be consistent. Because if it's wishy-washy or maybe, yeah, maybe, that can start a nasty domino effect for all the other ideas that you have, because you have to keep going back to this original thing because it keeps changing. If you can get some solid foundations before you start doing the rest of your planning, much, 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 much easier. This is a phrase that I can't honestly remember why they brought it into the seminar, but it sort of stuck with me. If you always rely on others to make you happy, financially successful in itself, organized, you will always be unhappy, unorganized, unsuccessful. The bottom line is you sort of got to grab the bull by the horns. It's not like it's a money thing. It is a time thing. If you've got time on your side to think things through a little bit easier and better and more detailed, you will have a much easier way and more purposeful promotion. This may be something that is sort of situated with you guys too, and we have such a wide, and of course we did all 5 days of this week, we have such a wide spread of people in the group. You can get anywhere from manufacturers and financial institutions and nonprofits and the government. We have a really hodgepodge of people. So it may be different for each one of you. But for us, we come up with themes on a pretty regular basis because we need to emphasize a million different products or something that is new to you. And we do it through something that will hopefully grab your attention. Know it before you need it. You may never have to buy an award in your life, but you at least know we do it. Just know that we have that opportunity if maybe somebody asks you about it, or that sometimes you got to sort of take over for this other person in order to be able to make it happen. When all the stuff over there on that pedestal next to the copy machine came out, all the green things made out of tires, made out of corn, made out of recycle this and recycle that, I mean, whatever it happened to be. When it was all introduced, we wanted to be able to get that out to our customers and realize that we offer that. So we came up with this green logo and they thinking about tomorrow. Thinking because of the whole creative promotional thing, but you're not only that, but you're thinking about tomorrow and how these things will affect the landfill and everything else. We also did one that had to do with non-for-profits. Now this one took on sort of a different spin. We had 15 non-for-profits in for lunch. We are constantly hearing from them that they don't have either the volunteers, the wherewithal, or the money to be able to get their word out as far as they want to get it out. They believe, and we do too, if people knew more about what they did and where they did it and who it affected, that people would contribute and participate more. So, with us wanting to be able to send out t-shirts to show people that we do t-shirts, we were going to send out a t-shirt anyway. We just needed to figure out why we were sending and who we were sending to, give it a reason, and also what was going to be that tag-along. So, based on our conversation, everybody gave me 150 somethings, whether it be their annual report, their membership drive, their whatever. It didn't matter what it was. Everybody was different. You had the Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful and the Boy Scouts, and it was a big hodgepodge. We put their logos on the back of each of these shirts. We sent out an email to our existing clients. You know where I'm going with this, don't you, Cindy? We sent out an email to each of our clients, and we said, what do you do in the community? Donate blood, pick up trash, babysit. What do you do? Something that helps the community. Ruth Miller, who is taller than me, emailed back and she says, I help old people get things off the top shelf in the grocery stores. Which, granted, you know, it's a helpful thing. I wouldn't think of that off the top of my head. Well, then these people went right along with her and said, well, I help them get it off the middle shelf because she's not as tall as Ruth. And then who was the shortest one?
Pam.
Pam, yeah, she helps get things off the, because she's tiny. Yeah, once you start the joke, it continues. But what was nice with this is it gave us an opportunity to help them. It also gave us an opportunity to get this out there that we were going to send out anyway. And these people got members and volunteers and donations. One of our groups got a $100 donation. Went to the corporate office. They had no clue who to give it to. But in the memo of the check, they put doing my part. That was the way they were able to trace it back to Sue being here at the meeting. So sometimes it can be a really, really different twist as to why you do things. This is a phrase that I came up with for the title of a speech where we did it last October. Had one of our conference speakers from Las Vegas come in out of Baltimore and do two speeches in one day. And it is mind over what matters. Whatever matters to you, it gets back to that thing. Do you want volunteers? Do you want people to open up a checking account? Do you want them to visit a website? Whatever it is that you want them to do. We also did this one a long time ago just to plant the seed. Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about that? When you send out a mailing, have you ever thought about laminating a magnet to the postcard? Because it can be done. And lots of times people just don't even know it can be done. So you're planting that seed of a possible opportunity. Either way, Tony Robbins nails it. A real decision is measured by the fact that you've actually taken some kind of a new action. It doesn't have to be leaps and bounds. It can be tiny steps, but at least you're moving in the right direction. There was a tagline on an email that I got the other day that was just sort of a quote at the end of this person's signature that said, wouldn't it be nice that if every meeting you went into, somebody said, what if? What if we do this? What if we do that? And something was actually done about it. Because you know how those meetings are. Ooh, big ideas. And then they end up on the floor all the time. This is a phrase that I learned at our 2005 Rotary Conference in Chicago for our 100th anniversary. 42,000 people from around the world. The speaker was a representative from the White House. It was nobody we would know. He just had a Rotary tie-in. So he did his speech, and at the very end, he said, I got to tell you, there's this phrase, and he did not show us the phrase. There's this phrase that stuck with me for a long time that my grandmother taught me. It has 10 words. Each letter is 2 letters long, and it has a vowel and a consonant. Well, half of the 42,000 people don't speak English. They're going, I don't even know what he's talking about. Everybody else is going, no, can't be. 10 words, 2 letters, no way. Well, then he did the Wheel of Fortune, revealing the letters thing. And when it got up to this, we're going, oh my God, it is so cool that you would never even think it was possible. And again, it gets back to that grab the bull by the horns. The speaker that was right after him was Ted Turner. And Ted says, wow, this is a pretty, he had no clue what he was going to do. He goes, wow, this is a perfect lead-in. Because Ted's speech was about, no matter if you're a club of 50 or a club of 2,000, the formula is the same. You can, don't think because you're a small club, or in this case a small company, or in this case a small marketing team, that you can't do it. The formula is the same. You may do it on a smaller scale, but you can still do that type of
taking your image higher. Skyward Promotion.